What's up, Rolling, man? What's going on with you, man? How you
Everything
doing?
is everything is great, my man.
We are
Oh,
back live.
yes, sir.
Back
Wonderful to be
live.
here. Wonderful,
Huh?
wonderful to be here. Wonderful to be here.
That's what. Hey, so we haven't done this in a while, man. Haven't done this in a
I
while.
know. I know.
Right when people start to come on right now, we'll get this thing started. But we got a great interview tonight. Young lady named Margaret P Bean, right? She's a playwright, and
Okay.
she got a lot of things coming along in the DMV and also New York. So we'll talk to her more about that. But you know how we always kick things off. We talk about before we kick things off. We always ask each other how we each other doing. How was
How
our
we
day?
doing?
You know what I'm
My
saying?
day
So
was my day was good, my brother.
it was good. So
Working from home is wonderful. That's all I'm gonna say.
so I've been working from home for the last 2.5 years myself, and
Yep.
I don't got acclimated.
Yeah.
Let's say of doing this here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. I keep
All right,
telling people. I keep telling people I'm gonna ride this till the wheels fall off.
you gonna ride to the real fall
That's
off?
right.
Hey, I'm the same way, man. I'm gonna do the same thing. I can't wait. To do better things. So I may cough a little bit. So my thing is, I don't have COVID. I always got to let everybody know I don't have COVID. It's one of those things how people always have. Oh no, get away, put your mask on. But now I got a lot of allergies going on and things like that. But man, life's been good for me. Today was good. Busy day for me today. I'm in my new home, as you can see. Last time
Mhm.
we met up, I think I was in my apartment at the time, you know. And if you know my story, went from a house, single family house, to apartment, 1 bedroom, well, single family house, 4 bedrooms, basement, large yard, down to a
Mhm.
1 bedroom apartment,
Mhm.
and then had to go through those things, over the levels that we had to go through as men, and now I'm back in the house, you know what I'm saying? God is
Um.
good. Yeah, God is
That
good.
yeah, I had to go through that same exactly that same level, just like that.
Exactly.
You get broke down. That's what that's what I call it. You get broke down, and basically I tell everybody this when you get broke down to an apartment, don't get comfortable. Always use that apartment as a platform to shoot from, to shoot off.
Right.
Don't get comfortable being an apartment dweller because
Right.
that's a
Exactly.
mindset.
Exactly. So we got people coming on, Roland. We want to say,
Okay.
hey, hello to everybody coming on. If you can in the chat, please jot down who you are so we can see you. It's just recognize who you are. We got a great interview tonight. We got Margaret P Bean coming on, and let me see, blessing gentlemen. Looking forward to the content tonight. Also, thank you for joining us. If you a newcomer to Levels of Men, please let us know. I can't see your name, or we can't see your name in the chat. But if you are a regular guy that's part of our family, welcome and appreciate you. So, further ado, I think I'm gonna. You think I should try to go live on my Facebook page?
Might as well try it.
All right, we're gonna give it a try. Let's go ahead and bring Margaret in before we do that. Oh, that's Maxine. Maxine, hello. How you doing? Long time. So, well, Maxine is the lady that pretty much I told you guys about that has a beautiful place overseas. And one day we're gonna host a Levels of Men conference. We're gonna bring all the ladies, all the men, and we're gonna go and get fit. Because Maxine, boy, if you see her now, Maxine, I see those pictures. I see how you're doing things. Maxine, she'll go ahead and get us in shape. We got chefs over there gonna give us, feed us. Then for feeding us, we're gonna go into those conferences and the breakout sessions, right? I think that sounds like a great time.
It
Maxine, if you
does.
can, jot down that location where you at again. I forget. We've been a while. Tracy, what's going on, Tracy? How you doing? Thanks for coming through. My boy Tony, he's on. Let's go on, Tony. Tony, man, he's a great guy. His own radio station here in the DMV. We got to get him on as well to talk about him and his wife. Man, they got a great story. But let's go further ado. Let's bring Margaret on. Um, hello, young lady. How you doing? Hey,
Oh, I'm
Margaret.
on. I'm actually on now. Hey guys, how are you?
Yeah, we're doing good.
How
Yeah,
you
we
doing?
we normally have our little conversation first before we bring our guests on. You know,
Okay.
yeah. So you sound no feedback. Sounds good now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on my phone now, and I'm looking at Facebook, so
Oh,
I can see it. But I think I joined into your live chat, so that's what I did on Facebook.
okay. Let me see if I can. Roland, do me a favor. Can you cover the chat because since I expanded the window, I
You
won't be
can't
able to
see
see
it?
the chat. I can't see the chat. So what I'm
I'm
gonna
on my
do?
phone. I'm on my phone. I can see the chat.
You
Yeah, I
can.
can see the chat. I
Yeah.
have my laptop up, but I'm on my phone, so I can't see it on the StreamYard, but I can see it
Right.
on Facebook. So that's how I know Tracy's there. Maxine, thank you for being here. Um,
Yeah, I want
so
Roland.
that's
Yeah,
yeah, that's
I don't want you to. I don't want you to put. We ain't gonna put you to work, Margaret. I want my co-host to make sure he follow the chat. So
Yeah,
Roland,
I
that's your
got it.
job tonight. Do
I
that for
got
me
thank
it.
because
you.
I'm gonna go
Okay,
live. I'm gonna go live
okay,
on
thank
my
you.
Facebook. Give me
He
one
said I'm not
second.
gonna put you to work.
No,
Just
we're gonna do that.
okay.
Hold on a second.
She
Let me
volunteered that.
Akiva knows that I'm down for the
All
work.
right, so I'm live on my personal page as well. So hello to everybody on my personal page. I decided to do this coming two ways. I think we're on Yahoo. I mean on Yahoo, YouTube, YouTube, and I don't know when the last time I even checked my Yahoo emails. We're on YouTube tonight. I believe so. We're on Levels of Man, and coming off now streaming through my personal page on Facebook. And the reason why I did that because I want to expose Levels of Men more, so they can come join us. You know, hey Roland, you see the hat, right?
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Hey Mark, you like that, don't you? You like that, Mark?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yep.
we gotta
Levels
get
of
you one.
man. I need one.
We
I
gotta get
need
you one.
one. Thank you so
Yes. So,
much.
so welcome to the show tonight, Margaret.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. Before we really get into the to the meat and potatoes and everything about who you are and all that good stuff, I want to take the audience back to how you and I started a conversation a couple weeks ago, right? And we want to just bring that into this conversation, and then
Okay.
also we don't it's nothing scripted, you know what I'm saying? We just want to have a conversation with you. Because
Okay, great.
I already told you what Levels of Men are all about.
Yes.
And I want to get your feedback about that because we got a lot of new people that you invited because they're gonna say, okay, we got ladies in the Levels of Men. We got
Uh-huh.
men in them. They say, okay, how can the men and the ladies learn about the men? You know, but I think it's important to have them there as well. So
Yep.
furthermore, like I said on my personal page, welcome. And
Thank
I
you.
can say in the chat,
Mm-hmm.
please give us your first name, tell us if you're new, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But also you're live. I will respond to you later. I can't really
Okay.
I can't really see you guys right now because I want to focus on my guest and my boy Roland in this conversation. So everybody on my personal page, I see you, I'm waving at you, and I will talk to you guys later as far as responding to your comments. So Margaret, like I said,
Yes.
before we always open up in the conversation, Roland and I always ask each other, how was our day? You know, because
Mm-hmm.
it's important. I have learned I am not as chief as like his with his gray hair and he, my boy right there. But I look at my boy as a mentor, a good
Okay.
friend, and a person that I went to when the pressure rose on me, got a little hot. You know, I called
Mm-hmm.
Roland, and
Okay.
had some good conversation. He was my accountability partner.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
he did not hide the truth. He told me the truth. If I was wrong, he gonna tell me and all that good stuff. So we always open our conversation up. How was your day? Because as men, we got to learn how to really listen to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just go through the routine. Hey man, how was your day? And then you're not even really don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because when a man is going through something and you ask him how his day, guess what? He gonna talk. He gonna
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah.
That's right.
I was one of those talkers when I was going through some things. I talk. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't talk to everybody. So Roland was my man
True.
I talked to.
So
So
true.
Roland, you got anything to say about that?
Um, no, I'm just being the place where God called me to be at. That's the best way I can put that. I don't purposely impose myself on anybody. I just make myself available. So yeah, and that's what it's all about, being available for somebody who needs an ear.
So true.
Yeah, that's true. So, so Margaret, let's get down to it. So, I sent you what the levels of men is all about. If anybody who's to see the strolling across the page, levels of men right there. The very top is manhood. Then the next, so we're gonna go down to the bottom. It's nurture, spirituality, forgiveness, being apologetic, self
Mm-hmm.
awareness, and this other. Let's see. Let's go back it down. I don't have it in memory yet. Yeah, self care and health awareness. Then the next level is mentorship. Then the final and the highest level is manhood. And that's how the levels that we go to as men. This is what Roland and I we discuss.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't say this is the truth for every man, but we feel that in the very beginning we got to have that proper nurturing.
Mm-hmm.
And if we
Mm-hmm.
get deep on that, but that's another conversation because we as a boy, we got to get that nurturing in the beginning. And
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of time now, as a man, that I have made mistakes, was kind of too rough on certain things because I was learned that it was a learned
Mm-hmm.
behavior, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
we carried on, and we try to do it to our sons, and we try to do it to our
Mm-hmm.
daughters, but nobody gave us a manual. But as we learned this thing and went through it, we got to also learn how to change it.
Mm-hmm.
Before we can get to manhood, we got to get to that spirituality first
Yep.
and develop a relationship with God. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So tell me, what do you thought about the levels and when I shared it with you last night?
I always want to seek God for an answer. And so while I was at work today, I had written down what was in the email. And so when I thought about building up, I thought about that we need to understand that men and women were raised with or without a father. So it can be two different things. With a father, you got guidance. To the best of his ability. Without a father, you learn a lot of things on your own. And so you can use a mentor, but that means you have to take ownership and say, hey, there's some things that are wrong with me and that I need to tap into another man who may have what I need to get. You tapped into Roland, and Roland had what you needed, and you were willing to own up that you didn't have it all together. So a lot of times taking ownership for what we have and what we don't have together, and then seeking out that godly wisdom from another man, being able to submit yourself to someone, that's like a first level right there. And then I compared it to scripture. And in James 4:10, it talks about humbling yourself before the Lord and he will lift you up. So a lot of times when life has beat you down, you need to go to the word from that spiritual aspect and get built up, because the word has a lot of things in it for life and godliness. And so a lot of times for men, just taking accountability that I really need God in my life to make things happen for me so that I can be built up.
Man, I'm telling you, boy, I'm over here just writing notes real quick. What you were saying, Roland, you want to expand on that? What you were saying? Anything? That was
Um,
fire. That's fire.
what about well, it's something that you said earlier. That some people don't believe this, and I can say whether you believe it or not, you still going to go through these different levels.
Mm-hmm.
As a human being,
Mm-hmm.
you might not recognize it,
Mm-hmm.
but you're going to go through these certain levels. There's there's no way around it. Everybody has to go through certain levels, certain tests to get through to get to certain levels. So whether you believe it or not, it is so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a and Margaret, you said something key. You said a few things that I wrote down. I want to start with broken, broke down. Um, like I say, this mission, this vision, Lord gave me, and I passed on to Roland. We together we created levels of men, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I just remember being in my kitchen. I am, and hey, Roland, can I be candid like we always do?
Please.
I'm sitting in my kitchen, house by myself. Everybody gone, and then as a man, I'm thinking like, is it is it all my fault? I'm looking around, nobody here. I'm by myself. You know, but what I did instead of looking at everybody else that could have contributed to the break point, the separation.
Mm-hmm.
God told me, I want you to look at yourself. Don't worry about everybody else. I need you to look at yourself. I'm gonna get you right, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I say, the nurturing started. But that not only part of that with God, but nurturing goes back to motherhood and that being a little kid. But I was going now, God was involving me now in my spirituality. I started looking at things totally different. I knew that I couldn't go through the steps of being religious, right?
Right,
If,
right.
I mean, if you think about it, let's break this down. Now,
Mm-hmm.
we can get caught up being busy in the church, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got Monday, you got a leadership meeting. Tuesday, you got maybe other some type of ministry. Wednesday's Bible study. Thursday, you got other thing. You go through the whole thing. Then it's Sunday. Hey, how you doing, brother? How you doing? You greet each other, all that stuff, and you don't really talk to each other until the next Sunday, and you get through that routine. And then you get caught up in that religious walk, right? But God took me out of that just like he took David, and David had to hide around from people that chasing after him,
Mm-hmm.
and him in that cave, and he was all by himself. My house was my cave. You know what I'm saying? And then
This
I was
house.
crying out to God, snotting tears and crying and all that good stuff. But God said, you know what? I'm gonna start shaping you. You know what I'm saying? Start shaping you the man I want you to be. That's why
Mm-hmm.
I can smile through the things I'm going through. And they be like, man, how does God do it? It's because God had me in that cave. He had to change me. You know?
Yeah, yeah. You had to take accountability for
Oh yeah.
that. I can relate to that. Marriage wise, me and my ex-husband, we were at the church every night. We had 4 daughters, so it was dance, it was AAU basketball, it was palms, it was choir rehearsal, it was leaders in training, and so it was every night dedicated to everything outside of the home. And at the end of the day, our marriage suffered for that because we did not take time to nurture what we had. And then the kids began to grow up, and I was angry because I was like, okay, God, why won't he change? And God was like, you need to look at you. And so God began to deal with me as a woman, like, okay, you could have did this or you could have did that. Or first of all, let me just deal with you as a woman and deal with your shortcomings that, okay, you had a father who was more interested in being involved in the church. So now how does that shape your dynamics when you look at men? I had 3 brothers. My mother was like, you respect them and you treat them with the utmost respect. So I have no problem with treating a man with respect. I just had an anger towards my father who rejected me and abandoned me. So I brung that into a lot of my relationships, not just with men, but with women too. Like, oh, I'm afraid that you're going to reject me or abandon me. And so I put up this wall and I don't trust. So now being divorced for like 10 years, that isolation, I preached one time where when you put water into an ice cube maker, I'm dating myself now, and you put it in a refrigerator, it's cold, it's dark, and you don't know what's happening. And you open it up, and there's like a thin layer on top of the ice, and you poke it because you just want to see if it's all the way solid. But then you close it and you open it back up, and you got these ice cubes, and you're thinking like, well, how did that happen? So when you feel like you're alone and you're isolated and it's cold and it's dark, God is still working. That thin little layer, first he's dealing with that, and then you break into it, and then it gets solid and it gets hard, and when you take it out, something that's hot, it cools it off. So you just got to think of it that way, that when you're alone and you're isolated, that God is still working in the midst of that transformation, and he's transforming you into the man or woman of God that he needs you to be. And it's a process, and sometimes you have to do it alone because God don't want
Process.
anybody else's hands on it but him. So when it's all finished and said and done, and he shows you off to the world, and he says, this is my product, this is my child, this is the woman or man that I created in my image. So with that being said, can't nobody take credit for when the door is closed and you're going through your isolation.
Amen. Check this out real quick. I'm gonna let Roland go. Hey, when she was talking about the ice tray or the ice maker, for some reason I'm about to date myself. I thought about that back in the day, remember the ice trays?
You would
And you
pull
put
that
it in there,
thing
and
up,
you
snap.
pull it back and they pop up. That was the
That's
ice tray.
that's an ice tray too.
That's an ice tray, but they have the
Oh,
plastic ones where you put the water and
Yeah,
you kind of twist it and all
yeah.
of that. And
yeah.
so,
But that steel one though, your fingers get all stuck and everything. Try to pull
yes,
them.
we is dating ourselves.
Yeah. Roland,
Yep.
man, can you expand on that, man? What she was saying?
But taking accountability.
Hmm.
The number one issue, the number one situation to get you through all everything. Um, Years ago, I started a ministry, and I invited everybody in the world. Everybody's invited, and it's
Mm-hmm.
called the Mirror Ministry. And basically, you just look yourself in the mirror and you start dealing with the things that you know that you ain't doing right, because you got to deal with you. You're gonna God. It's a lot of things God is not going to do because you can do it yourself. He's not going to take your thorn away. You're going to have to do it yourself. Some things he just not. Some things is just meant for you to take care of, and it's
That's
meant,
true.
yeah, it's meant for you to get in. Like I said, get into the mirror and deal with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And also, Margaret, you mentioned about the process, and we're not going to go through all the levels. I
Mm-hmm.
just want to touch on it. So, anybody is, if you're interested in joining Levels of Men, please come on to the Facebook group. Um, Send out a request. We'll approve you to come through. We want to build this up, not because we want to grow our group. We want to help each other out. And I want to touch on this. How can women be in the group while we discuss about going through the levels of men? And this is the reason why we allow the women in. Because think about it. And the ladies, I want you to think about this here, ladies. So whatever level you find that man in your life that he come in try to talk to you and try to date you and whatever, he's on a certain level. Is he in that nurturing level? Is he in that spirituality level? Or is he in that forgiveness level? Or is he in that playing level? I want to still play my games and cheat and I don't have my finance together. I'm not a good leader, but outside he looks good. He dressed well. He talked well. You know what I'm saying? He got everything together. He looks good. He looks like he's a man, but deep down, and he got insecurity and he thinks like a boy, right? So, ladies, when you doing that, you don't know what level he's on until you really get to know this guy. So he can affect you in a good way or a bad way. But either way, when that man leaves you, or if he does leave you at the time, he's gonna affect you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're gonna carry that same baggage to the next relationship, and the next relationship. So you got to be very careful of what level that man is on. Only way you can get that is really get to know him in communication. Do that make any sense, Margaret?
Oh, it makes good sense. A lot of times, I had dated a guy for like 5 years, and so there was some things he did in the first 3 months, and then things began to change. He said, "Oh, I just did that to get you," and so there are things that begin to reveal themselves after a matter of time. And so, for 3 months, 90 days, they could probably handle it, but then the red flags show up. And so, I would admonish the women to see the red flags and recognize that either this is for you or not. You'll learn something. You'll learn what you don't want in a future relationship. I think that far as the maturity level is concerned, you can have a full grown man who may be in his 50s or 60s, but mentally he's still stuck at 12 when his father left him, or maybe he's still stuck at 19 when his mother let him go to jail for something that he did and just kind of messed him up mentally. So at the end of the day, you kind of meet a person where they're last stuck at, and how do you deal with that person that you don't even know? And it's like, okay, I'm trying to get to know the person that's standing here before me, and you got to deal with some levels and layers and all of those things to get to find out, who is this person that I'm really dealing with? Is this that 12-year-old wounded child, or
Mm,
is this that 19-year-old boy who's trying to figure life out? And now you're this grown man and you have let life pass you by because you haven't had guidance, you haven't had a mentor, you haven't had someone speak into your life positive. And sometimes you may have that person who nurtures you and speaks life into you, but we have this rebellion in us. And sometimes, even though we may have been raised so-called the right way, we still want to do what other people do. I mean, I had a girlfriend, she would steal anything that wasn't nailed down, and I would stand outside while she was stealing because I wanted to be a part of it, but I didn't want to be in it. So it's two different things that be going on. Do you want to be a part, or do you want to be in? And something that Roland said, and the one thing that we all have is denial. We deny that we have a problem, and so we all have that. I think once we own up to, somebody can tell you, oh, that's just the way she is. No, we got to stop just being that way about that's just the way they are. God didn't create us to be mean and nasty and hateful. He created us to be loving, kind, and his love is unconditional. So we got a long way to go for that. But in the interim of all of that, you know them bad ways or them habits that you have that you need to work on. And I think when men approach and they have games on their mind, that they're just not serious about themselves. So how could they be serious about someone else? I just think that with the dating piece, just got to be careful with people. People have some mental illness going on. People have some health issues going on. People just have a lot going on. We're coming out of a pandemic, so people have been in the house for 2 years with people they don't even like. But at the end of the day, like, you know, you have to learn yourself all over again. And what is it that you like? Love just shows up when it wants to. That thing is just out of control. But liking someone, that's a process, you know, and I think it's probably a choice. I choose to like you regardless of what you may have in the way of a flaw, because I see your potential and I see that you're a good person. And how can I help you with that? I was just telling Tracy, I said, we got the can't help it. In scripture, it says be the help meet. So whenever we're trying to overdo something to help you to be a better person, we can't help it because God said we would have helped meet. So bear with us. I think a lot of times I don't always have patience. I own that. But being patient and learning how to wait on God for everything, that you're going to pray for your spouse or you're going to pray for your friend, and you're going to allow God to give them the time to grow into that level that they need to be in, because we have this expectations of people that we put them sometime on a level that they're not ready to go to yet as well. So allow them to adjust and go to these levels as they are ready to go. It's like when you're taking an exam and you pass the first level, and then you go to the next ones and the questions are a little bit harder, and then you pass that one, or maybe you got 4 out of 5 right, and so you got to go back and retake the test again. So there's a lot of processes going on with these levels, and at the end of the day, just being willing to take the first step to even go to the next level is very, very key. A lot of times people are paralyzed with fear or sabotaging their own success because they haven't defined what success looks like for them. But at the end of the day, I think that we all have, you know, great capabilities to be and do better as a human being, period, you know?
Yeah. I wrote down part. Want to be part of it, or I think you said be part or in it.
Yeah.
So, also, Roland, let me know if you agree or disagree. As men, we're going through our levels. We also forget that ladies that we're dating or we're married to, they also going through a certain level as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we got to
I was gonna
recognize
say
that.
that too.
Yeah, we got to recognize that and respect that. And I want to touch on, and a lot of times during our conversations, and also if you watching us on my page
Mm-hmm.
or Levels of Men, if you want to say something or you got a topic you want to say something about, please put it in the chat. We do not want to exclude you guys. We want to bring you into this conversation as well. But a lot of people want to be part of something, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when I say that, a lot of people want to be a part of the thing of getting married. I want to get married, right? And then you say want to be part of it, you want to be in it. That is a
Mm-hmm.
difference. You want to be a part of a mass of people want to be in a marriage, or you want to be in it. Because when you in it, you're there for the long run. You're gonna
Right,
get those
right,
levels together, climbing
right,
together. And we're in
right,
this season right here, guess what? We're gonna be in this season together, right?
right.
Then we climb, because guess what? We appreciate each other more when we climbing
Mm-hmm.
together. If you
Mm-hmm.
look at our picture on Levels of Man, right? What is that guy doing? He's climbing, boy. And I'm thinking he's stretching. But you know what? Every climb, it hurts. It's painful. You
Yeah,
know, we
yeah.
got to get through it. On our
Mm-hmm.
t-shirt, I purposely chose levels, the word levels to be red, because it's not easy climbing those mountains and everything. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna be like you say in your ministry. You gotta look in the mirror. That's gonna hurt, you know. But yeah, go ahead, Roland.
Well, I was gonna say one thing that will slap a man straight, figure speech, is a woman who knows what she will not tolerate.
Yeah,
So,
say that again for the ladies to hear that.
yeah, a woman who knows what she, because like you already said, a woman y'all also have levels also. But when
Mm-hmm.
you get to the level that you know what you're not gonna take,
Mm-hmm.
and um you already know the vocabulary, that right there stumps the average guy who tries to come and bring anything to you, because then after that he don't know what to do.
So
So
true. So
And
true.
if
so
you just
true.
stand on your grounds, I've been through this before, and I see that in that guy, so ain't no need going no further than this. You know
Exactly.
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
you know what you know, and go with that. Don't go with what you know, and not second guess it.
Yeah, yeah. I wrote down today, I said, men, take accountability for your words, actions, and deeds. Women are watching and waiting for the man of God to show up, own up, stand up, look up for guidance. Life has challenged our men to no end, but we as women need to build them up without excuses and be willing to be better, be able to provide, be able to lead, give us something to submit to. And then I had just wrote down the ultimate levels of men, and it was maturity, ownership, effort, try, do, and be. Be what God has called you to be. And maybe we don't know all of what God has called us to be because there's so many facets to God, but allow Him to pull those layers back and become that man and woman of God and that dynamic couple, that power couple that says, you know what, we work together. We communicate. Communication has you and I in it. So let's sit down and really listen and hear what each other has to say to each other. And then put some guidelines on when we have communication. Respect me when we're talking, that I have feelings, that they're valid. Don't just dismiss what I'm bringing to the table. And walk away with the understanding that what I said to you is not to hurt you, but to build you up. And believe that I believe in you, that I see your potential, and I know that you are more than what society says you are. And I won't allow you to live in those labels any longer. I want you to go to the next level in God and be the man of God that He has designed you to be. It's God, and then there's the man, and then there's the woman. And women won't have a problem with that order if you give them something to submit to. A lot of times, like you said, they come into it playing games and doing all of these things, and you're looking like, that's not what I signed up for. So at the end of the day, just tapping into, once again, back into that in piece, tapping into your word more, allowing God to wash you with the word because He is the living word, and allowing Him to develop you to become this better person. And once again, back to being isolated. Sometimes you just got to cut people off and just deal with you and your spouse, what we going through, and no outside factors, no outside voices. And then how do we build without excuses? And how do we make us a better couple? It's work. It's not just get in it and get the cute dress and the tuxedo for that one day. It's work to plan the wedding, and then it's work to buy the house. It's work to have the cars you want. It's work to raise the kids that you want, and it's work to save your marriage. Once my kids were grown, it was like, oh, we sitting here looking stupid. We ain't communicating. And okay, well, you know what? My heart growing hard towards you because you're not doing what I think you should be doing. And at the end of the day, I wasn't doing what I thought that you should be doing. So that miscommunication piece is really, really key. And people get so offended when you tell them, you know what, that wasn't right. You could do that better. Your integrity, you're a man of God, and you're out here flirting with this one and that one. And you're talking about you getting married to somebody else, or you're living with someone and you always up in somebody else's face. People are watching what you say and do. And it goes back to be that man of God that we know that you can be, or that woman of God that we know that you can be. It takes work. It just
It
takes a
takes a,
lot of
it
work.
takes a lot of work, and what I want to do, I want to take the time, let people know that inside the group that we are watching you guys. We respect you guys' posts, and I want to go to a one post that the guys. Let me see. Not gonna say no names, but I approve this because I wanted to see the comments and and the conversation getter, because this is what the post, and it reads: men sacrifice their happiness way more than women in relationships. And I approve that. Not saying that I agree with it or disagree with it. I approved it because I really wanted people to really discuss that, right? Um, Real quick, I want to go around the table to see what you
Mhm.
guys say. What do you think about that? And in the comment section, if you go to the page and you see that, make a comment about it. But I'm gonna read it again. It said men sacrifice their happiness way, and he put in a lot of whys, way more than women in relationships. So this is what
Hmm.
I say real quick. I say, you know what? I'm not even gonna think about it because when two come together as one, there's no
Mhm.
there's no competition. There's no looking at each other who bringing this and who bringing in that.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say I disagree with him, right? I ain't even gonna think about it. I'm gonna say, you know what? When two come together, we together about our finance. We together about putting this work in this marriage. We together about raising our kids right. We sacrifice it together. So that's my answer. So Roland,
That sounds good. However, um, I don't see. I see that the ladies really want men of God. I see that they asking for it. However, when they get them, I don't see that they trust the God in the man. So um, after the well, first of all, trust is the first issue.
right?
Just trust in the man, not the God in the man. Just trusting the man. Period is one issue, and then you say you got a man of God and you don't trust that man. That's another issue, because if you are married and you are one, believe it or not, that man he has the answers to your family in his mouth. As the
Mm,
priest of the house, as the minister of your house, he has the answers in his mouth. But if you don't trust him, then it's not going to work, because you two are supposed to be one. Now, I'm not
okay.
even married. I've never been married, but I sure enough have got years of notes. And the more I see, the more it does get discouraging watching y'all married folks go at it like y'all do. But I'm not frustrated against getting married, but I've just learned a lot from watching married people.
Right.
And that's the one thing that I see, is that the woman don't trust the God in the man, and the God that the man of God that she says she has. So
Okay.
um, we got to get past the trust issue first before we can get through the other stuff.
That's true. All right, Margaret, take us home. Then we're gonna then after that briefly take it to your answer. Then we're gonna go into why you wrote your play and talk about that.
Okay, so I believe you said that men sacrifice their happiness way
Mm-hmm.
more than women.
Mm-hmm.
Happiness is a choice. Sacrifice, it should be, I'm doing this because it's selfless acts, not sacrifices in the sense of my happiness is being sacrificed. I'm doing this because I'm happily doing it. Happiness is a choice. I choose to take care of my family. I choose to do what I do for my family. I think when we were talking the other night, you pay where you stay. It's not a bill, it's a necessity. So having a car, I took the bus. It's not a bill for me, it's a necessity. So our relationship being healthy is a necessity. So us being happy together, I'm happy in and of myself. When I meet someone, I want them to build my happiness for us together. Far as sacrifices are concerned, we're sacrificing our time, our lives, everything to make sure that we become one, because we're not one from day one, Roland. We become one, and that's a process of becoming one. And we have to choose that again, like our happiness. So at the end of the day, I would just say for men and women who are considering dating or getting married, that take some time and think about it first. We want to satisfy the flesh, of course, all the time. That's usually the motivating factor why we get into a relationship. We want to legalize sex, as so they say when you get married. But at the end of the day, think about that, because it's a lifelong commitment. And even if you don't stay with that person, they're still somewhere in your mind or in your heart. And that's why we probably can't love someone else effectively, because we got too many people in our hearts and our mind that's not supposed to be there. And so we need to do like a detox, a spiritual detox, and cleanse ourselves from all of that. But the sacrifice of happiness, you should always be happy with yourself, and you should just, a person in your life should be an added plus to happiness.
Amen. I like that. I like
And
that.
let me
So,
add this. Let me add this. There was a post that we posted on our site,
Mm-hmm.
and the husband and wife was sitting down, and the guy told his wife that he chose to love her,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, and she had a problem with that until she thought about the times that she wasn't so lovable. Then she
Mm-hmm.
liked the fact that he chose to love her, or the times that she was pregnant or she was ugly and she didn't look good at the time, and she liked the fact that he chose to love her. So basically, and I agree with that too. It is a choice. You have to make a choice to
Mm-hmm.
love that person and to stay with that person. You have to
Mm-hmm.
make a
Mm-hmm.
choice, and so that choice means you're gonna have to make a choice to work things out when things are not right. You have to
Mm-hmm.
make a choice to do it even if you don't feel like doing it.
That's right.
So it's all a choice. You
Yeah,
got to put
it
that.
is
Yeah.
a
awesome.
conscious
Good
choice, and to
answer.
be intentional. Yeah,
Yeah.
conscious choice.
Yeah. Good answer. So let's go down to. I'm looking at the time. Want to keep it
Okay.
under an hour.
Okay.
So I want to go into your play. Um, Name. Give me the title of your play. Give the audience.
Treachery, treachery, lies, and deception.
Okay.
It's the ultimate betrayal of friendships. And what happens, I always write a message for the masses. I used to be a preacher in a previous life, and the church closed down, got divorced, and life happened. And so I say, God, how are you going to use me when I come back out? So more evangelistic. So when I write messages for the masses. And so this particular treachery, lies, and deception, it's dealing with mental health issues and concerns, and mental health care awareness. It's also dealing with domestic violence. And I wanted to show these two things because coming out of the pandemic, people's domestic violence has gone up because people were home all day and they were frustrated and they weren't happy and they weren't choosing to love. And so I wanted them to see themselves, but then I also wanted to provide them with some help. I had a table out front, Rock a Life Foundation, Ms. Danya Parker, a very certified person, beautiful woman. She had information available for them. So I feel like when I write now, I write messages for the masses, and I want to have a healthcare awareness piece in each one of my shows. And so the mental health care awareness, the young lady was dealing with some trauma from childhood, and she re-encountered that type of trauma as an adult. And so major depression. I share my brief testimony. When my mother died, I had anxiety. I could not go out the house. I began to have heart palpitations. It's the terminology was my serotonin in my brain had just shifted, and so medication shifted me back. Conversation, being able to talk about how I felt about my mother dying, and now I just get in the car and go wherever I want to. But fear had stopped me and gripped me from going different places with major depression, anxiety. It's real. Medicine, it's okay to take it because it'll set you straight. Having a good conversation with a therapist who don't know you, who won't judge you. There's nothing wrong with it. I wanted to show in the play that the stigma of getting help, it's okay to get help. We get off balance sometimes because things in life give us trauma. And at the end of the day, it's okay to go talk to your therapist. It's okay to take the medicine to get back on track. So,
So the month of October is about suicide. No, I'm sorry.
mhm.
Is
it, it's breast
domestic
cancer month, and
and
then it's
breast cancer.
suicide, and mental health care awareness was in September. And that's when we actually did the play.
Okay. So name me a character that fits the category of the person that's going through some mental health. Because you said anxiety, you got a lot of issues going on. 'Cause a lot of time, Roland, as you know, the time frame when men's trying to date somebody, there's a lot of women going through some mental health issue, but they cover it up. They cover it up very well. Until she get pushed. She get
Yes.
pushed, then it's explodes. And we see that. We see it. So, can you name a person in your play that describe what you're going through? I mean, not what she's going through.
The character, Savannah, she represents mental health care awareness and the trauma that happened to her as a child. Her father was raping her, and she went into a black place and a state of depression. When she got older, she met a guy who was going to be her all and help her with her singing career. And he turned out to be like her father and brought back the trauma in her life. So she was majorly depressed and she didn't feel like she was loved, and she wanted to be loved, but not by him because he reminded her so much of her father. But at the end of the day, anxiety, scripture says, be anxious for nothing and cast all your cares on him. And when you're in that state of depression, you don't think about those scriptures and how they're going to help you and get you back on course. So it's nothing new under the sun. God knew that we would have anxiety. He knew that we would be anxious. And so here's a scripture. But in the natural, he is a doctor who knows how to help you get through some things. So take that stigma away. Like, I'm afraid to go talk to somebody to get help because you need it.
So I'm gonna go back to what you said about the she saw somebody resemble her father, right? But
Hmm.
that was in a bad way because you said the father was raping her and things like that. But
And he,
it come to my senses that as men, and let's talk about that. We can either we can raise our daughter and show them how a man's supposed to treat them, right, in a good way, right, or we can do
hmm
it in a bad way. So whatever
hmm
it is, she's chasing after what she was learned by her father in the house,
right. So rather good or bad.
whether good or bad. But
Right.
man, we got to start as we climb these levels. We got to make sure we prepare our daughters to date somebody that gonna, if you're doing the right thing, date somebody that's gonna do the thing and be the leader of the home, love them, protect them,
Hmm.
go them levels with them, support them, all that, communicate with them, and as well. But wow, when you said that, she found somebody that reminded her of her dad because that was she was used to, right?
Right.
Used
Right.
And you know when she learns that from her dad, what she does when she goes out and date, personal experience. I went out on a date and we was going and the young lady and her niece, we was going to a movie. I got into my car, sat in the car, started up the car, and nobody else got into the car. She stood on the passenger side, just stood at the door. And I
She
when,
was
she, when
waiting
I
for you to
seen
open the door, Mr. Roland.
and when I seen her do that, I said, "Oh, okay, that's right." And so I got out and I went around to the door and I looked at her little niece. I said, "You know what?" I said, "Your aunt just taught me something, and she just taught you something." I said,
That's
"If a
right.
guy's not opening the door for you,
that's
you
good.
don't want to deal with that guy." And
That's
so I
Yep.
good.
let her in.
That was
Yep.
I apologized. I let her in, and we went on about our business. But that was a good lesson for her. Actually, I really knew. I just forgot.
yeah.
Okay. But that's a big thing for us. You'd be like, and when we talking to our girls, girl, he opened the door for me, the whole nine. That's a big one right there. Like he got that consideration and man, if somebody taught him something, yep, that's
But
important.
I will say this: we don't do that enough, though, because I
Yeah.
noticed
Yeah.
that women guys they're not used to it. Y'all not used to it. When I
Some are
open
not
doors
used
for
to
women,
it.
they look at me like, "Oh, that's new. Like it's new."
Some are not used to it, and then some are like expecting it. So it just depends on the standard, like you said earlier, the standard they set for themselves. Sometimes we be too independent. We be like, I got to do it myself,
Right.
And at the end of the day, women stop that. Let them open up the door. I just wanted to say one thing before we move forward. When you said that women, when they deal with anxiety, men who are depressed go into a black hole, and so for us, we explode, and for men, they go into a black hole, and you're trying to figure out where you at, what's going on. They become non-responsive, and you're trying to figure out what the heck is going on with them, but they've gone into this black hole of depression, and they don't know how to deal with it or describe it, or once they begin to explode, they've gone so deep, dark inside of themselves, it's kind of hard to get them out of that shell. So a lot of
Exactly.
times when you meet guys, and sometimes you're wondering like, oh, they're either too hyper, or they're kind of like in a dark place, or they're good when you meet them, but then when the reality sets in that they've met someone and there's expectations, they can kind of draw back into themselves really quickly. So just realizing some signs of depression on a person who you think is I don't want to say the word normal, but they're doing their thing for as long as they can, and at a certain point they draw back into themselves in that depression. And so just learning how to deal with a person who has mental illness. They can have good days and bad days, and just being able to be there for them when they allow you to be there, because sometimes depression won't allow you to be there for them.
I got a question for you.
Hmm.
Why should the ladies come see your play?
The ladies should come see my play. I had started a ministry in 2004 called Strengthen Thy Sister, and it is to encourage, inspire, build up, and to strengthen the sister. It was Luke, when he was converted, he went back and he strengthened the brothers. And so I've been through some things. I've been converted, and I can go back and strengthen my sister. If you go to my Facebook page, it's always something inspiring. It's always something inspirational. It's always
Name your
something
Facebook page.
positive. Everything is Margaret P Bean.
Mm.
My webpage, everything is Margaret P Bean. I try to encourage and inspire women to be the best that they can be. I've written 6 books. They're all inspirational. They got gems. They got affirmations. I feel like a lot of times women that I meet, sometimes I met a woman recently. She used to work for me, and she said, "Oh, my parents use my name to pay bills, and I just don't know how." And so she's in her 30s and she still doesn't know how. So I try to encourage her. I try to give her affirmations. I try to build her up, because I feel like I'm older, I'm mature, I've been through some things. I don't know everything, but I do know that when we're in our 30s and our kids are younger and we're trying to build this family, that sometimes you just need someone to say, "Hey, I've been through it. You can get through it, and here I am to encourage you and strengthen you." A lot of times it's if I don't post something encouraging, somebody's sending me a message like, "Where's my inspiration for today?" Because they're used to it now. So being able to strengthen my sister, go back and say, "Babe, I've been through this. Trust me, you're going to get through it too." And so I don't have all the answers every day. And I could use some encouragement too, but there's so much that's inside of me that I have to give to women, that they're my heart. Like, I really love women like that. Like, y'all need to be strengthened. Y'all go through a lot with your children, your parents getting older. When my mother got sick, I had to take care of her for 3 years. The school was calling, my husband was being neglected, and it was just like, man, come on, God, this is a lot that I have to deal with. So being able to give a young lady who's in her 30s and dealing with growing children, learning how to be married and be a wife, and because there's a difference between being a wife and a mother, and all of those different things that people don't really talk about. So Strengthen Our Sister is to reach back and pull sisters forward. So I encourage you all to, like you said, get some accountability sisters, and allow them to speak into your life. Don't let everybody speak into your life, but you'll know who to let speak into your life.
So, good answer. So, why should the men support your play?
Why should the men support my play? We deal with some traditional family curses in there. And I think men need to see why they do some of the things that they do. They saw things from their father. I had a guy tell me, "Oh, my father took me to his girlfriend's house, and I had to sit there and watch him, and knowing that my mother was at home." So to just kind of hear the fellas in the play talking about, I did what I did to her because my father did it. It's time to break those generational curses. And I think men need to see that and understand why they do some of the things that they do. So the visual sometimes helps you understand why you're doing what you're doing from a total stranger. It's like not a family member. Like, oh, you don't want to hear what a family member has to say, but you'll go to a stage play and you'll see something that provokes you and says, "Hey, I saw that growing up as a kid. Let me check myself. Maybe that's why I'm doing what I do. And maybe that's the reason why I'm treating her the way that I treat her." So it's for men, women, young adults. Um, One of my friends, Jocelyn, said that I should do it for youth, because youth are experience a lot of high rate of mental illness now. So I was thinking that I may do a youth show and kind of like critique some things down more applicable to them, and allow them to do a question and answer session afterwards.
That's awesome. Those who didn't see the play was in last month, September.
September 10th.
Yeah, I went to go see it. It was in Bowie. Oh, what was the name of that theater? Bowie.
Bowie Performing Arts Center.
Performance Art. Great play. I had a great. She received a great write up. She's now getting ready to take it to New York, and give her the address in New York, and also if you can give her the address, the date, and the time, uh,
Okay.
for people come support it.
Yes, Saturday, October the 15th, we're going to Jamaica Performing Arts Center. We are adding a pre-show with Lynn Whiting, which I'm so excited about that. So the doors will open up at like 6 o'clock for the pre-show at 6:30. And then we're going to roll into the stage play at 7. Jamaica Performing Arts is right there on Jamaica Avenue. There's parking. They gave me parking information, which is not too far from there. But we'll have some vendors on site. We'll have a dynamic pre-show, a wonderful play. And so I want to try to take it other places too. So our first stop, I'm from New York. So we did 2 shows here in Maryland, and now we're going to New York, Jamaica Performing Arts Center, October the 15th, 6 o'clock doors open. Get your tickets. I have a $10 promotion going on right now. Tickets are $45. So with the $10, it'll be like $35. And you can only get it on my website. And my website is mpbentertainment.com. That's where I sell all my tickets at. And so get your tickets. You don't want to miss it. The singing is phenomenal. The cast have been working hard. Matter of fact, they were online at 6 o'clock this evening, running lines on the Zoom, made some changes to the show. So this show will be a little bit different than the show that was here in Maryland. People have provided feedback. I hear you. We listen and we do what's best interest of the production. And so I'm excited about the changes. We have some new people. Lynn Whiting, Kiana Stowe is actually from New York. Curtis McNeil, Avery, just some dynamic DMV talent that have been with me since 2017. This is not my first stage play, so I've had people who have been with me for years. And so I'm excited about what MPB Entertainment is doing and where we're going and how we're growing. My stage manager, I promoted her to be my assistant director to offload some more tasks because I have things like this for interviews and promotions and writing with other people and writing for other people. People hire me to write for them. So I'm excited.
Hold on, give that important person name, her name out. That
Gwen,
stage manager that went to the
Gwen
director.
Lewis.
There we
Gwen
go.
Lewis. She's
Gwen, that's
amazing.
right, Gwen.
Gwen,
Yeah.
yes,
We tell
yes. She's
give
been with
Gwen some
me
love.
since she's been with me since 2017. She wanted to be one of the actors. I didn't have any more roles, and she had stage manager in her resume, and that's how I used her. And she has been developing and growing. And I wanted to make her the director, but she was like, she's not ready. She needs some more tutelage. And I was like, I've given you all I can give you because for real, I take director from you because she handles everything. In the back, she got her earphones on. She's back and forth. Come on, let's go get on that stage, and she runs the rehearsals. So thank you, Gwen Lewis, for being amazing stage manager, now assistant director. And I am grateful for God sending her my way and allowing her to just do what she do. And I try to stay out of her way because you give people tasks and allow them to do what they do. So thank you, assistant director Gwen Lewis. You are awesome. Yes.
Well,
Yes.
it sounds like a great play. Those who are in the New York area, please go out and support.
Yes,
Margaret.
please
And
do.
also, if you got any friends on the Levels of Man that lives in New York, please go out there and tell them support this play on October the 15th.
Yes,
And,
yes.
I
And
want to give a time to recognize all our people. Those who I was watching when they're watching me and looking down. I'm checking out the chat. Right, so I want to thank Tracy Scott. He's on. Reginald Humphrey. He's on.
okay.
That's my boy.
Thank you
Tracy.
guys.
Let me see. Tracy making a lot of comments there. I appreciate the love there.
Hmm.
Sherelle James. That's my girl on my Facebook page. She's supporting as well. She's a member of Levels
Thank
of
you.
Man.
Thank you.
She's out of Alabama, so but she travels a lot. You never know.
Okay.
She's
All
traveling
right.
nurse. She might be in
Okay.
New York. Who knows?
Okay. Who
But
knows?
Sherelle, if you're listening, if you're still on, tell all your New York friends there to go out down to Jamaica and support this play.
Hmm.
Maxine, thank you so much. Maxine answered our question earlier, Roland. So it's at the Sugar Apple Lane, right? That's the open stage event. Let me see. Let's get the contact information. It's in St. Thomas. So the whole vision for Levels of Man. If you're watching, you're listening. Look, Levels of Man going to St. Thomas one day, y'all. I wish I could say it like Steve Harvey. Ha 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 ha. You go. I gotta go there.
Well, just let me know so I
Hey,
can handle the women's segment on
right.
that.
We going to St. Thomas, y'all.
That's
But no,
right.
the ladies going with us. The
That's
men, we all
right.
going.
That's
Like I
right.
say, Maxine, she's gonna get us in shape. Maxine, if y'all know, follow Maxine Frederick on Facebook. She's part of the
Okay.
as well. And she came in and said, Kiva, if you want to go to St. Thomas, we got you. So we're gonna bring this conference to Levels of Men to St. Thomas, and we're gonna have a breakout session with the men, the ladies, and we're gonna come together and
Awesome.
we're gonna be accountable for one another. We're gonna get in shape. We're gonna eat well. She said she got a hotel, a bunch of good cooks over there. So St. Thomas, y'all, we gotta do this one day. I ain't
That's
just
right.
talking about it. Rolling
Oh
with
no, we're gonna be about it. We're gonna be about it.
yeah. Hey, guess what? Hey, maybe we can do a play over there. You know what I'm saying?
I know that's right.
Everybody dress up and just come out to the play, whatever, you
I
know?
know that's right.
We got
But
two
it's all about
playwrights
having
sitting right
fun.
here.
Say again, Roland?
We got two playwrights sitting right here.
But, you know,
Ain't no
hey,
reason why.
it's
Ain't
her
no
night.
reason
So,
why.
hey, yeah, it's her night. So yeah, we got two, but this is her night right now. I ain't
Well,
even gonna say this.
thank you so much. I would
Yeah,
gladly go to St. Thomas, and I'm sure my cast would love to go too.
exactly. So so check this out, you guys. I want to thank everybody for like I said in the group for chiming in, saying those things there. We appreciate you. Like I say, Maxine, thank you for the information.
Thanks,
For
Maxine.
yeah, thank you so much. For the Levels of Men, thank you guys so much for just being a part of this group. We started from whatever numbers we have. We're almost at 500 now. We went through the pandemic together. We was away for a while. We saw the guy, we saw the ladies. They're still posting. We talking. We learning from one another. Levels of Men. We're gonna expand this thing even more and to bring more guests on like yourself, Margaret.
Hmm.
Talk
Thank
about
you.
their personal experience being married,
Hmm.
divorced,
Hmm.
going through things. That's how we gonna learn things, you know. So,
Hmm.
Roland, got anything to say before we close up?
Just pleasure meeting you, Margaret, and
Oh, thank
I
you.
enjoyed hearing your story.
Thank you. It's nice meeting you as well. And I look forward to greater things happening for Levels of Men. And of
Yeah.
course, whatever I can do to assist from the women's perspective, I'm here. I'm all for it. And Akiva, you are an awesome man, great visionary. And I am greatly humbled and honored to know you and to work with you.
Thank you so much. And I'm always gonna say this. My I learned this. I gotta say this. I gotta shift this and take what you just said, and I gotta pass that on to God because God be the glory. Because if it's just me, y'all want to know we're the real Akiva. You know what I'm saying? This, hey, but that's what I say. I'm glad I serve him because
Yep.
he keeps the Akiva that's trying to get out in check. You know what I'm saying? So, but I thank you so much for your friendship and your mentors. Roland, stop laughing at me, man.
Well, I say
Hey,
all the
words
time,
too.
in and of myself, I couldn't do what I do without God because that
Exactly.
side that people may not like that side, and some people get to see that side, and I'm sure they don't like it
I know
because
that's right. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just no nonsense about my production. I'm no nonsense when I'm a director, and I'm just no nonsense when it comes to a lot of things. And so a lot of times people can't handle it, but at the end of the day, I just got to please God ultimately.
Exactly. Amen. So if you want your levels, and we're gonna do a commercial, Roland. If you want your levels of man hat, you can contact Roland or Akiva at Levels of Men. Just send us a message, personal message, or make a comment in the chat box. Levels of Men, only $9.99.
He
Oh,
don't got no promo code for that, but it's
I
just
know, right?
9.99. All right, I want one.
I know, right? Hey,
Yeah.
but no, thank you so much for your time
No,
tonight.
thank you so
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
I
Roland, you gonna send us
appreciate
off
you
tonight?
both.
Oh yeah,
Huh?
most definitely.
I
Roland,
said
you gonna
I
send us off tonight? Close it out.
Say that again.
You gonna close us out, man? You got anything to say before we go?
No, basically, you guys have said it. Now you guys always talk about stuff that I don't know nothing about when we start talking about marriage. But it's always a pleasure to be over here to take notes to what you guys are saying and to learn before I take my splunge. Whenever God say that's going to be. But it was just a pleasure listening and learning, like always. I'm always a sponge.
Right. One thing I respect about you, you're not rushing anything. You know, you like you said you've never been married before, right? Right. So, and that's you know, you're not rushing. So that's I respect that. You know, so keep on learning, brother. That's all I can say. Keep on learning.
Hey,
And like,
the best people that handled the pandemic is single people.
hey, you know what? Hey, look, I'm gonna stand up for some married folk. I know some great married people that got a great marriage. You know,
I do too.
yeah. So I'm gonna give them their love and their flowers because I know they had a great time. They probably had a couple babies now. You know, well, let me see. They should be. How old they should be right now? But they got some great marriages out there that had a great time playing board games. You know, just having a good time and communication, all that stuff. That's what it's all about. And when you find that person, cherish that person, love it. You know? And guess what? When the man and the woman doing the right thing in the household, everybody else gonna be blessed by that. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see the love, even down to the kids. And I hate to say that, y'all, because I'm a pet lover, even down to the dog. The dog, you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
I'm gonna talk to pet lovers. Reggie, don't say nothing, Reggie. Yeah. But other than that, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Best of luck in Jamaica, New York.
Thank you. I love you guys too. Thank you for having me. I'm grateful. Thank you for the people who tuned in. I'm excited about all that there is to come from Levels of Men.
Amen. So you guys have a great night.
Good night.
We'll be waiting for that report in October 15th, how everything went.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be amazing, I'm sure. New York comes and shows out. I have elementary friends who come and high school friends, and a lot of the cast have family there, so I'm excited about it so that they can get to see their family. I think Lynn's cousins bought like the first 10 tickets.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm grateful.
Nice.
Grateful.
All right, then.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Levels of Men.
Yeah, Levels of Men. Those who are on right now, those who are going to watch it later, we thank you for your time. You guys have a great night. Be safe and enjoy your weekend.
Thank you. Good night.
We love her. Tell Lynn we love her.
Yes, I will. Most definitely. Thanks, guys.
All right.